remember that just because you own an Airbnb doesn't automatically mean you deserve the money or that people are going to rent your place. You are in the hospitality business, so be hospitable.
All right, we are back for another review of the rental market at the Lake of the Ozarks. At the time of we're shooting this, it is the dead of winter. We're at the end of January. There's still a lot of snow on the ground. And so Zach thought it would be very appropriate to bring me out here to the other end of the lake from where we were last month, which was Greens and Gators, which was way down HH. Now we are way down the Big Niangua. This has got to be like the 14-ish mile marker.
This is a brand new one for me, actually. This is the second time I've personally been here. The first time we came, the cabins were, I mean, they weren't in bad shape, but they certainly needed a little work, and the homeowner has done a ton of things to make this a rent-ready place. I think a lot about these that we're going to show is, I love resto mods. You know what a resto mod is, Jeff?
I do not.
So resto mods, like you buy like an old, 60s, 70 model truck, and then you put all modern parts inside of it, and it looks like really cool, old on the outside, but on the inside it's got all the luxuries.
Yeah.
That's kind of what these remind me of.
Yeah.
They're these true log cabins that were originally built here. And he's done all the work to get the chinking right, to get the wood, stained correctly and protected. It's got central AC and air. It's got a gas fireplace in here. So he's really done the work. The bathrooms, the kitchens are all modernized and updated in here. Kind of got like this really cool feel on the lake. Like I told you when we came, it feels like I'm in the 80s sitting on the lake.
80s? I like the 1800s.
Maybe
is more like it. This is like, I feel like I went back to the Civil War, but that's a really good lead-in because you can see this from the angles of the cameras that I have set up, just how cool this room is. Yeah. We'll take you through it. There's 2 homes on this property. We'll get into that. Yep. Both very small, but as you and I walked to the other home, I said, man, this is like, I can see myself bringing my wife here and just having like a getaway, just the 2 of us. It's like, it's perfect. And if I'm not kidding, straight out of the 1800s.
Maybe so. It's just cool. There are log cabins here. You can get online and look them, find them. Mm-hmm. A lot of them, they're very historic in nature, and this one's preserved very well.
Big time.
The guy who owns this property, he built his own house here. His family's been coming and staying in these cabins for years, and he's an awesome guy. He just really wants to share this cool experience with people, and it was fun to talk to him about the love he has for them. You'll see he's done some cool stuff. He put a swim dock in just for guests privately, which he really wanted to do to give people that feeling, which is I could come here kind of, even though there's a third house here, and he'll be here sometimes, that feeling of this is our place to stay and have that seclusion on their own to enjoy the lake. And I would imagine that in the summer, the boat watching is going to be great. The views are phenomenal, which I think you'll show. Of course, they're icy right now, but
it's iced over down here, yeah.
At the same end, like you're only from this house, which is cool too. You're only 5 minutes from Old Kinderhook?
Yeah, maybe 8 minutes to downtown Camdenton.
Correct. The roads are all paved from here to there. There's
you can see the 54 bridge from right here.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's how close we are.
It's like, you can be secluded down here in this little pocket, but you can also be really close to the things you want to do. And I would imagine that a lot of Max Creek fall players are going to want to stay here. I think off-season at the lake is such a controversial topic, and we probably hit it 50 times, but the reality is this is a property that I think will stay booked in the off-season because it's so cool, and you don't need to get in the water to enjoy this place. You can sit right here. You can sit on this porch right here with a little heater and watch the lake, or enjoy the wildlife that's here and out in the winter. And the roads are all paved here, which is unique in terms of a cabin feel. Like usually you have to go down the back roads, and it's all paved and nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. And so you hit the topic, or one of the topics we want to talk about. So last month we talked about data. This month we're actually going to talk about, now at the time of this release, it's going to be early March, and we're just going to be coming out of the winter season. But that is probably one of the biggest, I don't know if misconception is the right word, but just feelings about short-term rentals or owning investment properties at the Lake of the Ozarks. And you've mentioned before that the data says that the lake is like 2,000 doors short.
In June, July, and August.
For rentals.
Yes.
I know I even going back 10 years ago when I was considering, what I was going to do at the lake was like, I don't want to have an investment property here because it's not like Branson, which is 365. You really only have a rental season of maybe May through September. But the reality is that's changing.
Yeah, I'm a straight shooter. I'll tell you straight up that it's not the same money as July, but the supply isn't the same either. But I will say you still get those rentals through it. The coolest thing that I have learned in this game is that basically every market has a seasonality to it. Now, people don't think about Florida that way. They don't think about Branson even that way, but it does. They have seasonality to themselves. It's just different. Of course, you're not going to make the same money in October, November as you do July, but you're still making money, or you're still getting rentals in. The people who are winning this, by the way, are the ones who have unique experiences.
Yeah.
And
the key word, experience.
Well, that's what it is.
Yep.
One of the things that I get excited about in what I do is I get to see a ton of homes. I mean, we look at thousands of homes every year, and I'm not exaggerating. I mean, from not only people that call me and say, come look at my place, what do you think? Also realtors who call me and say, hey, what do you think about this house? What would it rent for? I do a lot of those visits. I mean, not only knowing you, but thinking about all the things that we do in terms of going to a property and evaluating it. We look at tons of homes.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it when we come to a place like this that's just different. I think if you tried to sell this as a full-time home, people would say, I don't want the upkeep, because it's not a cheap thing to keep up these types of homes. But as a weekend or a week-long rental, it's an experience that you can't get typically here. Like, you're going to go to Montana to find something like this, right?
Yeah.
And so here in the winter, we're sitting here covered in snow in a log cabin with a fireplace and, modern living. And I'm going, man, what a cool thing.
Yeah.
To your point, of course, I'd bring my whole family down here.
Yeah.
I just enjoy it. The cool thing is, a lot of times when we find these types of properties, I think the go-to move is to like stuff them full of people.
Yeah.
And that's not what this is. This house sleeps 4, that one sleeps 2. Like, it's got a Murphy bed and a bedroom, and like, that's what it is. That's the experience we want to provide. It's a very niche market in terms of we want a family of 4 to 6 and want them to enjoy it.
So why is it, do you think, that a lot of investors just automatically think to themselves when it comes to buying or owning down here, specifically at the lake, is I want to be able to have the big house with 5 or 6 bedrooms, sleeps 20. Why is that typically, or do you actually feel like that is true, that is like people's mindset or inclination when it comes to owning an investment property?
I think a lot of folks who've never invested here start there. I think they start
That's
with,
where their mindset starts.
Yeah, because the perception is it's all about parties and big houses, and that's how you make money. Look, that's a market, and it absolutely exists, and we have those homes too, and they're great, and they do fine. I just don't want people to get blocked off to the idea that they could do this too, right? Our 2 bedrooms, and I've said this before, it's one of the biggest growing markets here. We have a 2-bedroom in Sunrise Beach, and I've said this before, but it rents all year. It's rented right now. It's probably one of the few places that, honestly, every month we know it's going to have a rental. And I think it's just a small house. It's reasonably priced. It's actually second tier, and that property makes like $40,000 a year. Yeah, it's a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
I think the guy bought it for between $350 and $365 like a year ago. He bought it from one of our other homeowners who had it. So that property we know is going to make a good ROI. And I think it's because a lot of folks strayed away from those early in the Airbnb journey here. But now that they're becoming more popular, we're seeing people gravitate to those. Like anybody, none of us want to break the bank trying to go on vacation. And so if I can take me and my wife and my 2 kids to a place that's going to cost me $800 in the off season for the week, like, what a great mini vacation.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in the Midwest, Kansas City, St. Louis, Illinois.
Yeah.
It's just a great opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, I live 5 minutes from here, and it's already crossed my mind. Like, I just do a little getaway for me and my wife, staycation. It's almost like a staycation, but it isn't, you know what I mean? Yeah, this is cool. This is really cool. So I want to get into that real quick before we do the tours, is talking about experiences and how you set up your houses. So I'm going to bring up Greens and Gators because we were just there a month ago, and if you haven't seen that video, just scroll back a few videos, you'll see it. To me, that would be considered a house that didn't have an experience in terms of the way it was decorated. It was the way I would expect a rental to be, which is, let's not put a ton of stuff on the walls. Let's keep it pretty minimalist. Let's keep it clean. That one is its own experience just because of the location, but not like this, or not like some of the other rentals that you have where it's like, this is the theme, which then creates the experience. Can you kind of talk about that as a potential investor or somebody who already owns one, why they might want to shift or go in with that mindset when they buy to set up a theme?
I think there's a ton of ways to invest here. I don't want to shame on the fact that there's not a theme at some and others, because the reality is Greens and Gators is going to do great. It's going to be a great rental, but think about that experience. That is a location on the lake next to Shady Gators that sleeps a lot of people. And that guy, he had a bar downstairs. He put the stuff there, right? So he did some things to help create that. Is it a theme? No, it's a house with an opportunity to stay. Where I find that themes really start to come in is when you're trying to really drive a crowd of people into your home. What is that theme? I mean, I know you've done some videos with other Airbnbs that have cool themes, right? And I look at those and go, yeah, that's an experience that I may want to do with my family. And by the way, smaller homes with themes are going to do better. Think about topside or condo. I'll use that as an example. And when there's, let's say 10 on the rental market and they all look the same, having a theme is going to differentiate you and get you that booking there. This house, for example, doesn't need us to do anything because it is a theme.
It is the theme. It
right.
is, yeah.
And so I believe every home has its purpose or its place in the market. The hard part, and it's even hard for me, is finding what that is that's going to bring the crowd that you want. When we go into these homes and talk to homeowners, we talk about themes a lot. And what we're trying to do is say, what is the experience that you want to create? And a theme could be anywhere from from wallpaper and paint all the way down to what are you putting in the home? Is it pool tables and game rooms, and how are you decorating that to make that something that people want? Because
I mean, like a golf theme, a bourbon theme, a fishing theme, like
it's all
you can go down a massive rabbit hole.
Sure.
Like Love Island, like the listing that I just did, which
was cool.
When you look at that, if you haven't seen those videos, it's listed. There's a 3-home listing, and she themed them out very girlish, very Barbie-ish, very pink, Love Island theme, very specifically. You would think you're losing out on the bachelor party. You might be losing out on the family, but she's niched down so much, and she's in the top 1%.
Correct.
That says everything. Like, she's in the top 1% of rentals, and she's so niched down basically to women. That's it.
Which is phenomenal, because when you niche yourself in like that, you absolutely capture that market. What do we have? I mean, this number is debatable too. I don't actually know the real number, but it's somewhere between 5 million and 8 million visitors every year to Lake. Like, that's somewhere in there. We know COVID was the height of that. We know that now we're higher than we were prior. Like, all that's true. I don't know. If somebody knows the actual number, please, I'd love to share it. But I know it's somewhere in there.
We can Google it.
Somebody Google it, yeah. But I think knowing that, you only need, for your rental, your themed rental, let's say the girl rental, for example, you need 100 nights booked, maybe 120 to feel really good about what you did, and you need 15 groups. Like, you take that number, let's say 5 million for the low end, you're going to find that in your niche. If you've got the idea, you think it's a good idea, I guarantee you somebody else is going to like that. I'd love to tell you we're all unique, but to be honest with you, we all have a lot of similar ideas. And like your place being a kind of a fishing themed thing with some cool ideas like that. The advice I'd give people is, when you do your theme, go in. If you're going to have a fishing theme, have fishing lights that attract bugs, that you get fish.
Have fish on the walls.
Yeah, have fishing poles that people can use. Supply some things that like make that experience better. I think that's where you get into the like really attracting guests. Remember that just because you own an Airbnb doesn't automatically mean you deserve the money or that people are going to rent your place. You are in the hospitality business, so be hospitable. And I find that mistake a lot, where even if I go to Airbnb and I'm looking, and I do all the time, I'm looking at comparable properties or trying to evaluate what their value is. One of the things I'm looking at is like, how hospitable are you? When you read your listing, are you like basically saying, come stay here but don't touch anything and just be here? Or are you saying, no, come in and enjoy the place like your family and really sit down? Nobody wants their stuff ruined, trust me. But at the same end, use what you can and enjoy the place, and I'll make sure things are taken care of for you, because that's what you're in the business for. Yeah. And that's what separates us from a hotel room. If you think about it, that's why I don't look at hotel rooms and say they're my competition. They're not. I want to create memorable, lasting experiences for guests, and there's some basic things for that. It's got to be clean, that's fair. It's got to have an opportunity to do something. At the end of the day, people want to know that when they show up, they're going to have a good time and not have to overwork to figure out what to do. If we can supply those things, let's do that. I think this property exemplifies that in terms of like just being here is like awesome. I mean, what do we spend an hour just walking around going, this is cool?
It takes about 2 minutes to walk around, and that's the size of it, which it's a perfect segue. Let's go give tours.
Let's do it. As we think about the big house first, what I would call the grand cabin here of the two, you walk in the door, there's this wonderful living room, there's a gas fireplace in the living room, TV, internet, all the modern things that you want. And as you come through that, you start to see there's a Murphy bed here where you're gonna have a couple beds to sleep. Then you can walk into the kitchen. It's been renovated recently. It's a beautiful kitchen, fully stocked for everything you need. Nice dining table and a bathroom there. As you come out of the kitchen and come up the stairs, there's a great bedroom with an awesome view out of the bedroom, big tall ceilings, 2 mini closets, and a renovated bathroom there to just really enjoy the space. Like, it's just really fun. As you come back down the stairs and you go out on the big deck here, you've got several chairs to sit on and probably one of the most spectacular views. And I say that a lot, but this one, I'm excited to get back down here in the summer and sit on this deck and just enjoy it.
Kind of sits up high too from the lake, but yet from this house, but then from the other house, it's a gentle walk down to the swim dock.
Yeah, in fact, as you go to the little house, one of the reasons we didn't make 3 listings, we just did the one listing, was because there's one swim dock and we wanted those families to be able to enjoy that as opposed to having to share that with 2 cabins. So as you go over to the little house, it's just a nice pad walk over there. The little house has the kitchen, it's a bread themed, it's got the original floors in the house, which is really cool. If you're into that kind of thing, I think it's fun. You've got the old paneling in the ceilings. If you look, it's got that metal paneling, which is kind of cool. There's a couch there and then a bedroom there and the bathroom right there all together. As you walk out on that deck, again, brand new deck they just put on the front, and then there's the covered deck that you can sit on and really enjoy. So then if you look off that deck, you'll see that swim platform we were just talking about, where people can really sit and enjoy the lake and swim. These 2 houses sit on either side of what we call the main house, but we don't manage that or rent that. That's actually the homeowner's house. While he's not here a lot, we will enjoy it. It is a very cool place and property. I wouldn't call it super unique in the way that it sits on the lake, because there's plenty of these peninsula style things. I would say it's unique in the fact that where it sits on the lake, you can get here and see that and have that view without driving down 2 miles of country dirt roads. Like, you can come down from Camdenton and be pretty close down.
In summary, it's how many beds, how many baths, sleeps how many each one?
The main house is 1 bedroom, 2 bathroom, and the little house is a 1 bed, 1 bath. It sleeps 6 total. So there's 4 in the major house and 2 in the little house. And that might change over time. There is room to add more occupancy. We wanted to kick this place off with that charm feel, a low-key charm feel, where we could really get into this, and families, we know people will enjoy it at 6. We know that there's plenty of room. We know they're going to have a great time. And then we can evaluate that every year as we move up and just kind of get guest feedback. That's one thing I would tell any of our guests. There's always opportunity to leave feedback no matter where you book. But the best place to leave it is the number we text you when you check in. Text us your feedback, because we do take that to heart, and we make a ton of changes every year with properties. I would say 99.9% of our homeowners love that feedback, and they do something about it. Even if it's like you didn't have enough forks or whatever. We just had a homeowner put a brand new AC system in. The one she had wasn't bad, but guest said, hey, it's a little hot in here. It can only get to 72 in the summer. And she's like, well, that's not good enough. So she put a bigger unit in to bring the heat, the air down. So our homeowners are great for that. We take that feedback serious.
Somebody wants to check this place out online or check out any of your other listings. How do they do so?
Yeah, grandwelcome.com. It's pretty easy to navigate. It's going to ask you where you want to go. Click Missouri. It's going to give you 2 locations, Branson and Lake of the Ozarks. Of course, the best lake, Lake of the Ozarks. Right now, there's probably 55 properties. By the time this comes out, there's probably going to be close to 70 available to rent.
Wow. And if somebody's watching these and saying to themselves, damn, I got to seriously talk to Zach and Katie about my property, how do they do that?
Go to lakeozarkmanagement.com. There's 3 ways to do that. You can either call me on that number that comes straight to me. I'll answer it. You can send us a projection lead, which sends me an email, or you can put time directly on my calendar and I will call you and we'll have a discussion.
Awesome. Well, I feel like next month, the next house we're going to tour is going to be one with a slot machine in it, maybe?
Maybe. Let's see.
So that's another upcoming listing. So stay tuned. If you are a investment property owner and you want to have your property highlighted, even though you're not with Grand Welcome, there is that opportunity to do so. Just reach out to me. I will put my phone number up here on the screen. And so reach out. And obviously, if you want to have a conversation with Zach and Katie about management, I would highly recommend reaching out and checking them out. If you're thinking about coming here on vacation, go to Grand Welcome, because you'll save money versus going and booking through Airbnb or VRBO or any of those sites. So go direct to the management company's website to do so. And again, if you want to have your stuff highlighted, we're going to be doing this every single month, probably multiple times a month.
Can't wait.
See you, buddy.